pieces after a massive fire destroyed a section of the market early Thursday morning. Political representatives visited the area today and have been making arrangements to restore normality to the market. The cause of the fire is still unknown. TVJ's Anthony Lugg reports.
For many, it was only a matter of time before something disastrous happened at the Pepin market. After all, vendors have been complaining of neglect from the authorities for quite some time, but no one was expecting it would have been of this magnitude. Shortly after 2 Thursday morning, vendors received calls that a section of the Pepin market was engulfed in flames. Firefighters were called and the blaze extinguished. But when the smoke cleared, vendors began tallying their losses.
It would be about $20,000 or so, because it's 2 stalls, and they burn, the 2 of them burn.
8,400.
Bananas, jackfruit, breadfruits, you name it, they were all destroyed in the blaze. But it wasn't only ground provisions.
10 to 15 bags of soap, including tissue, pop soap, scour, bean soap, cake soap, just about everything.
Cleanup has already begun, but by all indications, that will take some time. Our news team caught up with Kingston Mayor Delroy Williams.
The importance for us right now is to restore normalcy, is to get our vendors to continue to do their business so that they can continue to earn their livelihood.
But while the mayor made that assertion, vendors are concerned.
I'm interested to know what recompense we'll get for the losses, because paying my market fee and stuff like that and come to see this loss, I need to get some recompense for this loss.
If I even want $4,000 or $5,000, can stop me back. Yeah, stop me back over by one bag of case of bean soap, half case of tissue. I will be grateful and thanks.
In the meantime, Member of Parliament for St. Andrew Eastern, Favour Williams, gave this commitment.
Whatever I can do to help them to restart again, I'm prepared to do that.
Councillor for the Pepin Division, Venetia Phillips, is calling for dialogue with the relevant stakeholders.
We're looking for the very best scenario in the short term, even as we look at whether or not we can accommodate vending on Market Road. That is not signed off on as yet. It is still being discussed with the police as well, because we have to take into consideration vehicular traffic.
Anthony Lugg, TVJ News.
And have been calling for increased police presence to arrest the problem. Now the police say they have heard the cries and will be responding. TVJ's Kirk Wright has that story.
Increased police presence in the mornings at intersections in the corporate area. In some cases, the officers are just standing there, with motorists still doing as they please. Some motorists say it's a good look, but others question their effectiveness. The police high command says it has helped with traffic management. But while effective traffic management in the corporate area is an important policing function, some say the Market District in downtown Kingston is begging for some tough police action. Break-ins and petty robberies happen in the Market District every day, but more so on the busy market days, Thursdays, Fridays and Saturdays. Without providing figures, the police say the reported numbers of break-ins and simple larceny in the Market District are low, and that the numbers are down when compared to the corresponding period last year. Our investigations, however, prove differently. We have learned that people are robbed of cellular phones, jewelry, money and other items on a daily basis. And for those who are asking, it is true that people should be able to carry their personal belongings however they want to. But operating here in the downtown Kingston Market District, things are tricky. The guys here have what they call spotters. And these are people who stand at strategic points at different corners, looking out for people carrying their cell phones, their jewelry, money, or other important items exposed. But lately, men are walking up to shoppers saying they have guns and threatening to shoot if shoppers refuse to hand over their possessions. There are police operating in the downtown market space, both in uniform and plainclothes. They do make arrests, but clearly the police numbers aren't strong enough for them to have an effective presence to deter the criminal activities in the Market District. Shoppers often clamor for police in uniform. They say that adds to their comfort level when conducting business downtown. So, in our weekly news forum, we asked members of the Police High Command why not move the police who occupy the intersections in the weekdays to the downtown market areas on the busy days.
These robbers, they're on Beckford Street, Princess Street, Haywood Street, Barry Street, every day.
The strategy for the presence on the road to deal with the traffic congestion is a different strategy to deal with the robberies downtown. So I might just explain a bit that the one for the traffic, it is predicated on the fact that you use people that work in office. They come to work, and they work in offices. But we ask them 1 day per week. So today is Earl, and tomorrow is Dashan, and they do 3 hours at the stoplight and go back to their desk duties. So those people could not be the same that will be used to cauterize the situation downtown. I know that there is a strategy afoot to deal with that, where you'll have more people in that space, as well as both in uniform and otherwise. So that is something that is being worked on.
How soon we might see something like that manifest?
You'll see it soon. We have that dialogue around it up to this week, and so it will be rolled out soon.
Kirk Wright, TVJ News.
4 people are dead following a motorcycle collision in Sheffield, Westmoreland last night. This latest incident has once again raised concerns from the road safety officials in light of reports that indiscipline played a major role in the crash. We begin our coverage with Herman Green.
4 dead and 1 at hospital in critical condition. It's a startling mishap which left relatives and stakeholder groups pondering the number of casualties considering the type and number of vehicles. It's understood that 3 of those killed were on one bike, while the other 2 were on the other. They have been identified as 33-year-old Ryan Robinson, also known as DJ Forthright, a businessman from Red Ground in Negril. 2 best friends, 20-year-old Shakira Hawthorne and 21-year-old Kadeen Campbell, both of Whitehall in Negril. Those 3 were on this Honda 600 motorbike. Also dead is 32-year-old Everton Spence, a photographer of Sheffield in the parish who was driving the other bike. According to a police report, both bikes were traveling in the same direction along the Whitehall main road when Spence, with 1 pillion rider on board, attempted to make a turn. The other bike with 3 persons on board slammed into it. Mr. Spence died on the spot. The other 4 were taken to hospital, where 3 were pronounced dead and the other man admitted in serious condition. The relatives of the deceased are all in shock.
I was at the shop and a guy called me and said, Forthright is in a terrible accident. He never told me that he died. So, somebody took me out there and I saw him lying on the ground. And they took him to the hospital and that's where they said he died.
Maybe half an hour before the accident, he told me that he was on his way home. And then I heard he's on the road in a serious accident. So I was extremely in disbelief.
When you go there, what you saw?
He was lying on his face in blood.
We have 1 already dead and 3 more in the same community. And Shakira and Kadeen, they're close friend, best friend. So they always go together. So they end up die together.
Herman Green, TVJ News.
And as we reported, road safety officials are raising concerns on the heels of Wednesday night's crash. The crash has increased the number of persons killed on the nation's roads since the start of the year to 144. It's the same number of fatalities as the corresponding period last year. With June being recognized as Road Safety Month, the Road Safety Unit in the Transport Ministry is warning that it now has the tools to identify and prosecute those who break the rules, if they survive.
For Director of the Road Safety Unit at the Ministry of Transport, Kenut Hare, again, indiscipline on the road played a major role in Wednesday night's fatal bike crash. By his assessment, 1 rider failed to obey the fundamental rule of the road to keep left. But he notes that it also highlights another ongoing problem.
All 5 persons on the 2 motorcycles were without helmet. It further highlights the fact that we as a country and as a people really need to take this helmet wearing and this seatbelt wearing stuff seriously.
He says motor vehicles manufactured since the mid-1990s are all fitted with black box technology, where all driving information, including speeds, if seatbelts were being used, and braking and steering movements are all recorded. With the safety unit and the police now fully capable of retrieving this information, the authorities will now be getting tougher on delinquent drivers, especially speeding.
And some of these speeding is what I would term exponential speeding, because I have seen some speeds coming out of the black boxes that make my blood cringe, man. The blood cringe, man. Because I'm wondering, why is this person doing this on the network?
What kind of speeds have you been seeing?
I've seen speeds of over 122 kilometers per hour.
We're not talking about highway.
We don't have no. It's not highway we're talking about. I have seen speed over 100 kilometers per hour. Look here, the human body cannot withstand 50 kilometers speed limit, much less 122.
He says the ramped up road safety campaign has been having some success, as the number of fatalities among motorcyclists in western Jamaica has fallen significantly. However, with the number of fatalities the same as last year, the increased threat of prosecution and convincing family members to caution relatives are among the methods being pursued.
We want to implore motorcyclists across Jamaica. We want to implore the families of persons who operate motorcycles to begin to join that road safety train and ensure that nobody leaves their houses without the helmet on the head.
Herman Green, TVJ News.
And coming up in tomorrow's Gleaner, broken bond. Mother-father relationship plunges 4 years after childbirth. U.S. partners with Jamaica to fight human trafficking. 4 perish in Negril 2-bike crash. And still ahead tonight, the Transport Minister proposed to open all taxi and bus routes. And in sporting news, Jamaica's sprinter Nesta Carter has lost his appeal to the Court of Arbitration for Sport. We'll be right back. Even as the government proposes to open all taxi and bus routes, Transport and Mining Minister Robert Montague is warning of stringent measures to accompany the regime. He made the announcement in his sectoral presentation in Parliament yesterday, where, according to Mr. Montague, he wants to remove the hustle out of the industry. TVJ's Janella Precious reports.
Opening all bus and taxi routes in the country is likely to be a game changer in the transport sector. In his 16-point proposal, the minister is suggesting that anyone who wants to be licensed will not be turned away. Well, not exactly.
No driver will get a badge if he or she is a rapist, child molester, gunman, thief. Or if they are convicted.
Currently, the routes are determined by the Transport Authority. The minister has taken with how these routes are selected in the first place.
Mr. Speaker, the current practice is to have a technocrat in Kingston to determine how many taxis and buses must be on a route, or to determine what is a route. Here. They claim that many routes cannot take any more taxis or buses because enough are on it. Yet you see people standing and waiting for hours, and many illegal taxis operating because they cannot get a road license.
He argues that people should be able to design and craft their own routes and apply for it to be registered. License applications will no longer need to go to the board. The minister is also proposing that all drivers must participate in an annual customer service driver education training exercise. This is how robot taxi operators will be dealt with under the proposed system.
Anyone caught running and operating an illegal taxi, these vehicles will be seized. It will be returned when proof is brought that you have applied for a road license. If it is seized again, it will not be returned because it will be easy to get license.
In his presentation to the lower house, the minister did not address how this move would impact operations at the JUTC. But in a release Thursday, the opposition argued that the proposed plan puts the public transport system under viability threat. Opposition spokesman on transport, Mikhail Phillips, argues that the proposed policy is a prelude to chaos and will render the transport sector uneconomic. He raised concern about the overcrowding of lucrative routes and the understaffing at the Transport Authority, Authority to effect and manage the changes. Currently, the Transport Authority issues 44,000 public passenger and commercial licenses per year. Janella Precious, TVJ News.
3 employees from the Kingston Public Hospital have been interdicted as authorities intensify their probe into the improper disposal of neonates earlier this month. The update came in a statement from the South East Regional Health Authority, SARA, this afternoon. TVJ's Andrea Chisholm reports.
The bodies of the neonates, newborns less than a month old, were found on the premises of the Victoria Jubilee Hospital. Those dead babies should have been at the morgue of the Kingston Public Hospital, which is on the same compound. And so 3 employees, including the morgue supervisor, were interdicted on Thursday so authorities can continue investigating the matter. The Southeast Regional Health Authority, SARA, also indicated that a buzzer system and surveillance cameras are being installed to beef up security. More people will be employed at the morgue, and procedures for morgue services will be strengthened. SARA says it's working to identify and fix the source of the problem. So far, there's evidence the employees did not follow the rules to store and remove human remains from the morgue. Based on records, the authorities have been unable to account for some human remains. SARA's probe into the improper disposal of the dead babies includes identifying control breaches and practices surrounding accountability at the morgue. The authority will also examine the process of transferring medical waste from the hospital to the medical waste management facility.